Good morning. Welcome back to the shop. It's Christmas Day, which probably means you won't see this till like mid-January, knowing my schedule. But Merry Christmas belated to those of you who are watching this. Been off of this for a couple of weeks. I did a few other projects and then holidays and etc. So here's a recap of where we are. We've got the base. I'm going to call it pretty well shaped. The shaping is done. And it's smooth. It's been sanded pretty far. I have to deal with some things, but overall the base is complete. And it sits nicely enough to be useful. And so that's done, that part. I just realized why that wasn't sitting flat before. Yeah, it's because of the foot. And then the top, for the base to hold on to the top, I drilled a few holes in each of these. I drilled a hole into each of these, into these pieces here, and then I marked where they are on the table, on the bottom side of the tabletop, on the bottom side of the top, and have some lines where the boundaries are and that sort of thing. So what I need to do is come up with a fastening method to get the top stuck to the base but allow for the wood movement that's naturally going to occur in this wide of a top. So that's kind of what I'm going to start on today. Is I'm going to start trying to test ideas that I have in mind. So what I'd like to do, this is going to be tricky to describe, but this thought I have in my mind, and I may have described some of this on the last video as well, but what I have in mind is some pegs that will go into these holes that I drilled. But they'll go into a T-slot, and they'll be a T-shaped peg. The idea is the top will go into those pegs, about a quarter or so inch, maybe less, up off the back, and then slide down and engage the T-slots, the T's of each of those. Then on the back, let me set this up here. On the back side, I was going to put, I think I will still do this, I'll put a flat, just a flange that'll stick up on the top. The idea is pulling this way towards the back engages all of the T's of these areas, which will keep it so that you could pick it up by the top. And then this little tab will stick up, and one wood screw will pull the whole mess towards the back. So the idea is the screw holds it back and the T's hold it down. By being T's, it'll allow the wood to slide around in as needed. And I believe I will have enough give in the limbs as well that it won't be a big problem no matter what. The hope is that I don't have a case where the wood moves enough to disengage too many of the T's. In fact, if it keeps these two T's, I'll be happy. I'm less concerned about this one. But that's the thought in mind. Now I just have to figure out how to execute it. And having a metal lathe and a mill and the ability to machine stuff will help me with this. So what I'm going to probably do is start doing some testing, some prototype mechanisms of some sort to get this operation working. The main goal that I'm trying to do is with the top in place, and if you were to look under the table with the top in place, you should see no fastening of any kind. I don't want to see the fasteners at all. So that's part of the other reason that I want this the way I want. The way I'm thinking about this is I want to have the fastening completely concealed, but I need it to be solid. So that is the current plan. So I figure I'll probably put the pegs, I'm still deciding, but I think I may put the pegs in the limbs and the T-slots in the top. I think that's going to work best. I'm not entirely sure. I've got a few limits, you know. I can't have the travel be too far because these are only so big, and I can't have the mechanism so big that it can't be overlapped by the dimensions of these pads. So that is where I am. Today we're going to try to come up with at least a prototype for execution to try to pull this off. We'll see. I think I can get this to work. Have it in my head. I just need to do it. Do it a few times. Try it in a few things and see what I can do. So I'm going to go over to the mill and the lathe, and we'll start playing around with some metal. Okay, so I'm set up on the metal lathe here. I've got a small stick of 1/2-inch diameter aluminum that I'm just going to turn down a bit. I think I have an idea in mind how I'm going to do this now. I've been thinking through it a bit. I'm going to turn this down to about 1/4 inch so that it can be stuck into the limb. And then from there we're going to go smaller to make our T sort of thing. It'll be clear here momentarily. So we're just going to turn this down to about 1/4 inch. I'm just going to do this by hand. It doesn't take too much work. Facing this off here, and then we'll turn it smooth to the diameter here. Just turn that down by hand as well here. Quite know how long I need it, so I'm just going to make a pretty good sized one here. And I think we're going to gauge the power feed here. One moment. Quick measure, we're probably about 3 or 4 thou off. Oh no, we're a bit under. Tool pressure. Flexi machine, you have to do a little better than that. But that's okay, this will do for my prototyping anyhow. So now, I'm going to chamfer that edge a little bit real quick, just with the file. And now we're going to make ourselves a little bit of a, excuse me, we're going to make a little bit, I think I'm going to do, yeah, I think I've decided I'm going to make this a little bit smaller for the top, for the T-hook. So we're going to go to, let's say, 180 thou. How about that? What's, let's see, I want an 1/8 inch slot, so the inside will be 1/8, outside the crown of the T will be, let's take a look at it from a 1/2 inch perspective. So if it's coming in here, I guess it could be 1/4. Okay, we're going to leave it 1/4. Alright, I'll switch out to the parting tool here real quick, just to make a groove. Just make a couple of nice little grooves here. I'm going to double check that we are square with the world here. And we are definitely not. and just eyeball it against the chuck jaw, or the face of the chuck. That'll give me a pretty parallel. It doesn't need to be trammed in too much more than that. So now what I'll do is come over. I think we're going to do about, well, I'd like it to be at least 100 thousandths. I think. It's hard to see that. So 100 would be, those are in that's 1/20th of an inch. That's a little over 100. Let's do about there. That's a little over 100 thou, and we'll chamfer as well. Take off the power feed real fast here. Okay. Give it a little extra juicy juice. Now I'm going to come in and call that my 0 point. And now I'm going to get a better read here. I'm going to call that 0. And then take a quick measure, and I want it to be 125 or less because I'm going to use an 1/8 inch end mill to make a slot. We're at 240 right now. So we have are we on it? Oh, we gotta go another. So we have, if we're at 240 right now, we want to go 128. We've still got 112 to remove. So I'm just going to go in. There's 10 off the diameter. There's 20 off the diameter. So now we're at 120, or 220, excuse me. Let's double check my measurements here. We're at, yep, 220. Okay, so we're at 220, 210, 200, to 190, 180, 170, 160. That looks like a big enough thing to grip right there, and the bigger I leave it, the better. So we're going to say 160. And then I'm going to come over and I'm going to make one more. I want it to be a little deeper so I can allow for a bit more flange on the top of the T. Okay, we're back at 0, and we're going to go right back till we hit 0 twice. There. And then I'm just going to slide around here. Okay, I think that is a worthy test subject right there. So the size of this gap is about 90. It's about 90 thou, 92. Might be a little better than that. Yeah, about 90 thou. I think that's okay. I think that's going to be just fine. I have a feeling I'll do these in steel at some point, but right now I'm just getting my shape down. Another thing I would like to do is, at the very least, give the I'm going to put these in with epoxy, so I'd like to give the epoxy as much of a shot as possible. So I'm going to put some grooves in. Just periodically. No measuring here, just making some glue joint grooves here. Not really trying to keep them evenly spaced either. I'm just putting some teeth. Okay. So I think I can call that adequate, at least as a test subject. And we'll put this on and part this off of here. And then oh, hold on. We're going to do a couple of real quick chumpas on those areas. A couple of chamfers just to keep them nice. Now we can slice this buddy off. It's going to need a little bit of facing, but that's okay. And so there's our part. There's at least a part, or a test part anyway. Okay, so a little time has passed, and I apologize for not filming the whole thing. I was working through the process, and I've come up with what I believe is going to work well. So when you can see here, we've got the slot down the center that's a little over an 1/8 inch wide. We've got a little trough here that's round, using a round nose 1/4 inch end mill that matches the round radius of this, that allows it to pass through without having it stick out past the diameter of the 1/2 inch hole. I don't know if you can see that very well, but hold on. Let me see if I can find a way to hang on to this. That will do what we need you to see. The idea is it's got to go in and then slide. And if it can go in without needing bigger than a 1/2 inch diameter hole, that's even better. And I still get a good, I'm engaged right there, and I can get a good nearly 1/4 inch, I think. And if I undercut the 1/2 inch hole on this side, on the bottom side, I can have this stick out a little further and still get full engagement. So I think this is going to be our mechanism, our fastenment. There's still a question of tightness that I have to work out. Not entirely certain how I'm going to deal with this just yet, but I suspect I can deal with that with the gluing process. I might just stick some paper between them and glue them together at the best possible location. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see how that pans out. Anyway, I think we've got our design, and now I just have to make 3 of them, or I guess make 2 more of them. We'll see. Make 2 or 3 more of these, and then we'll start planning on the assembly process. Okay, well, that was standing at the metal in the mill taking a while out of my back. Oh well. All right, tiny adjustment here. So we've got our posts, which will go into the tops of the limbs here, and I've grooved the heck out of them so that the epoxy will grip. And there's plenty of depth available so that they'll seat where they should seat. And then we've got our sockets made as well, which will accept our posts quite readily and give us I've got a little play. There's a little wiggle room there. I'm not sure if I'm going to want that or like that much, but it's what I have and it's what's there. So I think what we'll do next is drill out the 3 holes for these so that they'll seat properly, and let that get these set to mount. So these are 1/2 inch diameter, so we're going to drill a couple of 1/2 inch holes, just barely deep enough, I think. I'd like to get these so that they just clear the surface of the top, so I don't have too much trouble seating them properly. So on to the drill press we go with a 1/2 inch Forstner bit. We'll be back in a second. Alright, just a couple of simple holes. I'm going to be playing around with the depth on this here, I think. I'm going to get that out of the way. Just to make sure that they seat just barely flush with the surface. I want it to be as close to flush as I can get it. And there's our spot right there, and I'm just going to go for it. Yeah, just going to go for it. Alright, well, that was uneventful. So now I want to make sure that these are reasonably, you know what, in fact, I'm going to grab a square. I want to be fairly sure that we keep them all sort of parallel with one another, and so that would be perpendicular to the edge, the back edge. So I'm just sort of eyeballing that in there, and I'm going to send it home just to play around here and see if I got my depths right. Okay, should be able to get in there and rotate it if I have to. Take my big fat screwdriver at it. Should be able to just get in there and tweak it if need be. Yeah, we can do that. How's that? It's close. We're gonna do the untweaking a little bit to that. That looks pretty good. Okay. Now let's make sure we're seated well here. It's just a hair proud, and I'm not sure if I want it proud or just a bit deep. We'll see. Play with this one next here. Just send it in. That one is exactly flush. Yeah, it is almost perfectly flush. Pretty good there. I'm going to try to send it a little deeper if I can. No, that is right on it. Barely, barely, barely. Good, okay. Now, this side now. Stick this one on in. That one got pretty flush too. Yep, it did. This one might go, yeah, that one went a little deep. That's okay though. It's pretty good. Okay. Now for the other half of this challenge, is to get these guys in here. And these aren't that deep. They're not there very tight in here. See if I can't put the loosest of them. Which one is my loosest one here? Oh yeah, that one by far. Let's put the tightest one in that hole. It seems pretty liberal no matter what. Oh no, that one's definitely. Okay. So I don't know if this is making any sense yet. Hopefully in a second you'll see if this works the way I'm expecting it to. That one's going in. That one comes through. Okay. Good. So we just get that one to go on. That one will go in. Come on now. Hey, they did it. They absolutely did it. They're in. That's cool. Okay, so now the thing that's messing is I don't have this one sinking the way I need it to yet. So we'll see if I can't gingerly nudge it. Not yet. It's not you. Yeah, it is that one. It's got room. There we go. That one didn't go all the way in yet. That one's definitely in. That one's just bottoming out is all. Just trying to find it. There it is. They seated. They are seated. Perfect. Okay. So that's just proving that they did work and they do align the way I want them to. Yeah, that's cool. Alright, you haven't seen any of this, so hold on. Okay, so they are now seated and flat. I just got a screw's going to pull that down. I'm just going to work on that next, I think. But I am very pleased with the results. The results. See that there? Popped it out. That one's coming out of its branch, but the actual intention has been reasonably proven. So what I'm going to do now is I think I'm going to secure these guys first. Yeah, I think I'm going to push this one in. Yeah, that one will come in. Okay. So I'm going to pull out the pins and use them to extract my... that one's sticky now. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to get them into... I'm going to work on getting these epoxied in first. That's working really, really well. Those... they've got a good, almost a full 1/4 inch to play with. I like it. Alright, so we're going to take our pins and use them to pull the plugs out here if I can. Let's see. I'm going to figure out how I can pop that out of there easily enough. That one comes out easy. Do you come out easy? Not super, but you'll come. There you go. Pop. And then this one needs to come out. Not moving at all. Okay. Let's see if we can get some flexibility here. That's probably all I needed to do right there. Yep. Okay. So I like what I've got. I need to get them epoxied in. That's the next bit. We're going to mix up. I'm going to use the really slow stuff because it'll run overnight and it'll be fine. That also will buy me the time to get these seated and then work out seating these too. So I'm going to mix up some epoxy and we'll bring you back. And in order to give the epoxy every possible chance to grip, I'm going to scuff the heck out of the sides of these with some emery cloth here. Just giving the epoxy some tooth. And that ought to help. Okay, that is side one of the glue up here. We'll do the second one tomorrow when this is cured. When these are cured, I can use them to locate and get those pushed in the right way. Get them in there the right distance. Yeah, that was that. Pretty easy. This one's a little bit proud, but I can just sand it smooth. It's not going to be any problem at all. And I mixed 10 times more glue than I needed. It makes me kind of want to try to put the pegs in, but I think I'm going to be asking for trouble if I do that. I want these posts to, or I want them seated first, and I haven't figured out how to keep them from gluing themselves together anyway, so that's okay. I'm going to let that dry, and we're going to call this a day. Tomorrow I will get these pegs into the base, and while that's drying I will work out the shape for the tabletop. I think that's it. We're getting close. We're almost ready to put a finish on this thing. Alright.